Hi everyone, I'm 𝓜𝓲𝓬𝓱𝓮. I'm an intuitive psychic medium and intuitive mentor, a channel and an artist. So welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've met me here before. If this is your first time, this is a soul-led channel. So I consider the my guides, the angelics, and other benevolent beings, pretty much I'm at their service. So they let me know when they've got information to share, or I've been doing this on a regular basis, and then they bring through information which could be really pertinent or informative or helpful, or help also with your growth and navigating this period of time, this discombobulating time, that's what they've called it. So what I usually do is just relax. I've done a little bit of pre-work and tuning in quite often before I have do a recording, things just start to come through. So like I say, I'm at service, so I know, okay, it's time for this to occur. And the last couple of channelings have really been quite benevolent presences with the angelics, and also beautiful Yeshua coming forward, and information with that around what's happening globally, but also kind of steering us away from that fear and really giving us some information on how to step into maintaining that sense of peace, and also the choice point that we're at. So do we fall into fear, or are we staying aligned with kind of more universal truths and realizing there's bigger things going on that we don't necessarily realizing, and just maintaining and staying in our peace. The other thing that has come through in a couple of the episodes recently has been around animals. And so I couldn't just ignore this. I actually looked up, because halal with pigs, I don't feel that they do slaughter pigs. So when I looked this up, no, this is cattle and sheep. And so I was looking at what is it with the pigs around the slaughter practice. And as far as I can see, the kind of concerning aspect is the CO2 stunning of the pigs prior to their slaughter in an abattoir. And this appears to be a little bit of an issue. So regarding live export of sheep and cattle to the Middle East, and kind of their conditions, also some of the halal kind of processes. So basically better conditions for those livestock, and also the sheep with CO2 practices. And also what came up was wild salmon versus salmon farming. So I have created a page on my website, and if you go into each of those topics, there's just a kind of brief summary on the topic. I just wonder how many of us are just consumers that maybe don't have complete awareness. So have a look. There are links to organisations which can kind of give you a little bit more information, or legislation. And then there's also links to any current petitions. So I've gone through and signed those. And it's all in the name of what we're being shown is these animals also require our protection to decrease their suffering. So surely there's other methods that can be used for livestock practice that don't involve these animals suffering. So link is going to be in the description. Please take a look. The visions I had around this were pretty disturbing, and I'm sorry if that was some graphic content when I explained it. And we were told again not to turn a blind eye. So I felt that was something that I could do. This page is a work in progress. So if anyone wants to add anything, or has any information kind of about what's happening in their country regarding, interesting petitions that support animals not suffering, then please feel free to email me. I've only got so much time and bandwidth, so that's just one thing. So what I do is I just close my eyes get very heavy, and just so I can just kind of focus and go with the flow, and really just communicate with my team, my guides, and the angelics, and bring through whatever it is that they feel is important for you to know or work with today. Okay, so my eyes are getting pretty heavy already, so I'm just going to relax into it and see what comes through today. So I'm hearing greetings to And greetings and benevolence. So this is a fine group. So this community, it's building and expanding, and the majority have increased awarenesses. And the channelings from the previous two episodes were brought to you to assist you to maintain your peace in times to come, and I'm hearing in troubled times to come. Things have become uncertain and rocky, and we are about to see an intensity spike around this occurring in the Middle East. So things are ramping up. It appears as though things are quietening down and all is about to stagnate and we can get upon our merry way, our lives, but actually things are going to become more shocking and intense. And this is a time where you are not to sway and give way to sufferance and plights. Some of you are experiencing increased physical ailments at this time, chronic flare-ups, and um, feeling uncomfortable in your physical bodies. This is relatively universally occurring. This is through waves of intensity. I feel almost like growing pains, or when you lose your baby teeth for your more mature teeth to come through, and there's an element of discomfort. Your body is also moving through different vibrational states, and at the moment it is increased, and this is also aligned with what we're going to see elsewhere globally. I'm seeing ships on the sea, warships on the sea, patrolling of waters and bombing planes coming in, and I see I'm hearing USSR, so I feel maybe there may be some involvement from, okay, we have inputs from other countries that will come into play. This will again intensify the experience and create more of a standoff situation. A theater's like threatening presence. I don't know if it's US warship, and there will be conflict associated with this escalation, environmental damage, and I'm seeing oil spills. So I expect to see more conflict in this region. I'm also seeing Iran, and there will be some repercussions on Iran. A few from the air, so more airstrikes and damage created here. This too may intensify and affect more civilians. I'm also seeing Israel. So Israel will begin to also feel the force of weight of allied enemy forces, and there will be some sufferance upon these lands as well. So we're starting to see an increase, and I'm just seeing almost like missiles going from one and over to another and kind of around about. So this, and I'm hearing shell shock. So I think this is air warfare. Okay. I'm hearing Nostradamus. I was just, I actually conferred with Nostradamus this morning. He wanted me to walk. We actually did my kind of graphical map, but he wanted me to walk upon that by myself. But I saw what I'm seeing right now is Einstein. So Einstein's beautiful face. So I actually did a mediumship reading regarding Einstein, and this was his bid for peace and how scientists were being involved in the beginning by the Kaiser in World War I into designing chemical warfare. So when I see his face, I distinctly feel that this is involving also chemical warfare will start coming into play. Again, I'm hearing environmental disaster and some areas of no man's land. This may fall from the sky, I feel, or dispersed, and it will land in water systems and pollute water systems. This is chemical warfare, poisonous to the human bodies. So I feel this things will take a turn into a different type of warfare, stealth. I'm hearing kind of stealth. I'm seeing this may cause large environmental areas because that are no man's land. And what I'm seeing about that is I always see 𝓜𝓸𝓫𝓲𝓷𝓼. So again, I did a mediumship channeling for him, and he was associated with the environmental disaster at Chernobyl. So when I see him, I associate this with large areas of man-made environmental disaster and cleanup. So this is what we can expect to see. Again, not staying glued to your TV, some of these atrocities and horrors, I feel shocking the system, the psyche, humanity in general. I don't have time frames on this. I just wanted to say, interesting with time frames. So we've had a lot of damage with Fiji and a cyclone that's just passed by and kind of wreaked a lot of damage in areas of Fiji. I don't know about the coral reef at this point, but I was definitely getting coral seas, coral reef damage as well. So I'd felt at the time that that was going to be kind of February time frame or upcoming, and now we're beginning of April and that's occurred. So I kind of, in some ways, I feel a sense of relief. I feel like I'm always waiting for these events. So the cyclone has occurred. These can be difficult to determine. So it makes it a little bit tricky giving timeframes. This timelines need to be maybe revisited, or there is moments where something peaks and therefore there's a strong likelihood of certain occurrences, the trajectory being still strong overall. I just feel that we deal with time, or our guides and the angelics are trying to work with us in a time frame which has no consequence or no place for them. They don't work within time frame, time being it's expansive, so all occurring all at once, all together, multiple timelines, future, past, so it can be, maybe it's difficult. Okay, oil tankers. Maybe running a little bit dry. I'm actually seeing a vehicle oil tanker. I don't feel like it's carrying, so all supply. So this is, expect this to be diminished as a protracted occurrence, and start making moves to mitigate this, because there will be, this is not a flare up that will then kind of peter and everything will be back to normal. This is going to have long lasting ongoing effects at the, I'm hearing at the browser. Feel like I'm an ad at the browser and in your homes, households. So I'm seeing a baby, and then I heard don't throw the baby out with bathwater. So I just want to see that, what that's about. I feel that in some ways it's manageable. I'm actually seeing mowers, so I'm seeing like a petrol mower versus an electric mower. We're still going to be able to mow our grass, so it might cost 50 cents more or whatever. Yeah, so just maybe mitigating where you can, but obviously, in some areas it's not going to be significant increases in cost. Power. Okay, I've had this before, power outages. There's going to be electricity fluctuations. I feel from like seeing like maybe electrical storms and also like heavy snow conditions. So I feel like it could be environmental issues. So again, just expecting more power outages. And this may not be for, like I'm seeing like 72 hours, that kind of thing. Then I feel like global. I'm also hearing global outrage. There's global outrage towards some leadership. So maybe a better way to focus that intensity of energy is towards manifesting new, better, more improved leadership. I feel this is an intensity of almost hatred as well because of hardships and changing circumstances in people's lives and pinpointing a blame. But this again is fueling the fire, the intensity. So looking for more measured leadership with peaceful means and addressing environmental concerns. I'm seeing like, I see it like the aurora borealis or australis, whichever, but I know now it's just increasing intense light. I'm seeing pinks and greens within this, and I'm seeing this again over Greenland. Interesting, Greenland keeps coming up. This is just being held by benevolent beings, and protected. So I feel this land, there are pockets of land which are very important and have a significance beyond what anybody perhaps can realize. And I'm not sure if this is known by like political factions. Some of this may be known, and there is a bid for ownership and exploration. It's important to keep these areas pristine. So we're back to this again, Arctic Circle, areas of Antarctica, areas within the sea. There is much maybe not understood protection of reefs. So I'm getting that this is really strongly important. I'm hearing like imminent. I feel reef destruction really accelerating. I'm hearing global destruction. I feel there will be more funds kind of provided to restore and maintain some of these unique situations with the reefs. And I'm hearing like museums, so maybe even there's going to be like indoor reefs that might be set up to help preserve. And I'm really feeling a rise in sea temperatures. Again, I'm actually kind of felt myself putting a hand in the water. It was very warm. So this is paramount and important. There's some kind of minor or like mini ecosystems which are also not fully understood but are required for the thriving of kind of much larger ecosystems. So there could be just breakdowns within the food chains which are significant in effect. Maybe our food sources over time as well. Octopuses. Oh, they're very high vibration beings. I'm just seeing all the colors of the kind of the electricity through their body, and just as this moves and changes and they change colors. Okay, I feel there are some of these, I'm hearing quite benevolent, large, giant sea creatures that reside deep within our oceans. Also hearing giant squid, um, kind of at large depths. I wonder if what I'm seeing is like almost someone looking through kind of a periscope and having a closer look into this world, and seeing maybe seeing under the ocean to depths that have been unavailable to us in the past, and being amazed by some of these creatures, and they also need to be protected. Mm, I'm hearing benevolent again, so I just am getting the impression that energetically they add to a lot of maybe benevolence in the environment. I'm not entirely sure, but I just know how my body's feeling um, regarding them, and then kind of being shown that outside of the oceans, this also has an effect. I'm seeing a whale eye, and it seems incredibly aware, almost like looking, sizing things up. High intelligence, again, just another um, group of mammal with high intelligence. We are not the only intelligent beings upon this earth, but yet we seem intent on self-destruction. So looking to the peaceful nature of other animals who live peacefully and in balance within their environments, not seeking to destroy. This is very much a human attribute brought about by ego. So animals don't have an ego. I'm hearing ecosystem. Our ecosystem being necessary for survival and awarenesses and logistics, and has created much complication. Just being able to quieten down that ego mind and tapping into something a lot bigger, a lot greater. Moving that aside, feeling the peaceful nature of all. Again, I'm getting that when you, upon shedding of your human body, your meat suit, the soul becoming aware of, I'm hearing its origin. So conflicts played out upon the earth where one man has beef with another man, and it may be through the color of his skin. Upon rising, realizing this is my soul brother, we are from the same, I'm hearing like galactic location, and realizing I was fighting my brother. But there are many. This is like licorice, all sorts upon the earth from many sources, and many, I'm hearing federations, and living relatively peacefully together as often benevolent beings. This is a global truth, and yet upon our rising and shedding of our skin, kind of the realization that our community exists here as well in different shapes and forms. So our soul brothers, our soul sisters, our close connections, those we may have shared previous lives with, as kin, as parents and children, and yet displaying in this reality, in this lifetime, And again, I'm getting a different colored skin, a different culture. Do we then, I'm seeing, like, raise our dagger and exterminate our soul family? So I feel the awarenesses of this is like, oh my God, when we pass. So someone who may be like your neighbor who you're in conflict with, maybe someone who you had an arrangement with, I'm hearing contract, where you decided, I need to learn more patience and tolerance. Perhaps you could help me with this and come through as my neighbor who is pushing all my buttons and creating conflict. And upon rising from your skin, realizing this was your brother and they played a part in your life upon earth to help you learn, to help you grow, and being reunited once again. And the realization, so minding your behaviors and raising above these seemingly differences being those of which you don't expect, the differences of the soul origin. There are many, many more than you can count from, I'm hearing extraterrestrial like beings or havens or federations and galaxies, and it is played out upon this earth. So there's a very where we all appear, our soul is encased as a human, and this is a suit which is compatible with life on this earth and allows us to play out our part in our learning. And some of us have transparency and gaining more transparency to something bigger than ourselves, but generally this being very thin, so not able to determine these truths because otherwise the learning would not occur. Our guide there to assist us on the journey, the path with which we have asked to be placed on, the soul wishing to experience. Again, I'm hearing patience or other aspects of human consciousness, including negative traits, manipulation, and warfare. Experience this just for deeper understandings and learning. This all being a game, a play, including the conflict, the scarcity created by conflict. So rise above this as if, and I'm just feeling like I'm rising above the earth and looking down from a higher place as a soul and realizing this is all but an illusion. So therefore, not allowing yourself to become emotionally affected and allow yourself to be expansive and allow yourself to be a creator of change. This game changing due to the high intensities of light. It is morphing. These are conflicts which have always been present, and now they are rising up for all to see. These conflicts involving 50% of, I'm just seeing kind of red over around about 50% of Earth. And then what I'm seeing is pinpricks of light within, so I'm seeing like kind of light conflict-free or peaceful nations, and then like red where there's conflict arising. It's been there, it's just increasing intensity. It's like the death throes. This does take time. So it's going to play out over the next few years until it's like I'm seeing like little lights going on within these red areas, and these increasing and coalescing as more people wake up and conflict settling and reducing. So this requires us to move out of fear. Getting oil tankers again. And seeing just villages on the sea. I just expect to see some environmental disasters. I always get the word dismay around anything that in general we're just like, oh my God. Again, hold your light during these times. I do feel like there will be, I'm seeing kind of spreading over areas of Europe, maybe being involved and drawn into conflict, kind of unwittingly by situations as they arise. In general, again, I'm seeing southern nations quite light in general industry and production. So there will be many changes here. I'm seeing Hitler inheriting Stalin. Things that we thought would never come to pass, will once again cycle through. Humans not appearing to have learnt much at all. I'm hearing trying times, so there is still beauty to be had during trying times, and this is what you must reach for. Beauty within your community and family units and within your homes, where you can remain largely unaffected. I'm seeing like, it looks like, I don't know, maybe during World War I or II, it looks old-fashioned with old-fashioned kind of large radios where families gathered listening, and the mums had their hair all curled just so, and tight-waisted kind of three-quarter length dresses, this kind of thing. So kind of around air raids and gas masks. So some of these times will also be revisited upon us. So just taking kind of precautions or measures. And I feel that there could be, so yeah, like dispersal through, I'm hearing vents, so air dispersal, maybe some, again, chemical warfare. I'm hearing two things. One is troubled times, and the other, almost overlapping it, was but don't be troubled by these times. So just knowing when measures are required, when changes are needed, when geographical location shift is also required. Guidance can be found, again, in peaceful meditation and being in tune with your body. Also by listening to and intuitives, so much as myself, I guess, for updates and upcoming events. This will assist. There will be more, I guess, psychic mediums, intuitives coming online to assist with this. I'm seeing some very clever with remote viewing, able to precise with maybe locations of some of these happenings, and this will be shown in advance. Tuning in and staying safe. So I do feel that this is where intuitives, I guess such as myself, will really come to the fore, and there'll be more of a reliance on this. So maybe this is also not going to be as misunderstood as maybe previously. I'm actually going to New Zealand, so I've got moves very quickly. Got like top of the North Island, so deluge, Deluge, conditions and Northland probably being very affected by some upcoming weather events. This will repeat. So water being an issue, particularly for that area. And I'm hearing Coromandel. Okay, that was all that's come through about that. So I'm kind of just seeing mud, water, deluge, flooding, bit of kind of land rivulets, but big, just water movement. Okay, that's all I'm getting about that. Okay, I feel like this has been a little bit all over the place, but I am hearing them. That is all. So yeah, that's all. I just felt like I was kind of, it was like this morning when I was seeing these things, I was going from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. I felt there was like a lot. And okay, so what came through was definitely this kind of extraterrestrial or alien piece. So I was actually seeing they actually gave me, I knew what it was. The type looked reptilian, but I heard Archon, a being who was overseeing kind of with interest and assisting and giving me some information. And I'm like, why are you helping Earth? And this was because there are many beings from this kind of family upon the Earth, but this was a very benevolent being. And this was where I was shown the all sorts, and then there was red areas where half of the world was kind of covered in red, so it's actually spreading, intensifying. I was also shown the chemical warfare kind of dispersing through the air, so there's going to be elements of that coming into play, which I feel will be quite shocking. What else was there? Oh, just it skipped and skipped and skipped and skipped, so I feel like I'm not sure why, but it just doesn't feel nice, like one nice, smooth piece of information today. So I'll have a listen to this, and if I feel like it's still good information to put up, then I'll go ahead and put this up. Yeah, so don't forget to have a look in my description for please, please sign these petitions. There's one link which will take you to the pigs with CO2. I don't watch the video. I did. I just thought, well, how much worse can it have been than what I saw in my vision? And, it left me with the same terrible feeling, which took quite a long time to move on. So maybe just read the information about it and trust that the reality with a hidden camera inside one of those CO2 stunning containers is not pleasant. Okay, well, that was very heavy. So as I said, I'm just going to check that out first. But yes, don't forget, stay light and stay unaffected and stay within your peace. So I really feel things are just going to intensify. And yeah, thanks for viewing, and I'll see you all for the next episode.